What injuries, if any, did plaintiff sustain as a result of each accident? Renninger goes on to say, based upon his review of the records, from May 13th, the first accident involved minimal impact, and Victor Latordo did not sustain any injuries that required any chiropractic care or massage therapy. It says, there's no objective documentation in the records that Mr. Latordo sustained any injury as a result of the accident. It's just absurd. The records from Alderwood Neck and Back state, and they also have all my x-rays from previously, from before this accident, from when there happened, and I was better. These injuries are not consistent with a minor impact. And yeah, exactly, because maybe it wasn't so minor, and this guy's a freaking dork nut, because I have the x-rays. The records from Alderwood Neck and Back do not provide any objective basis to state that Victor Latordo injured his spine in the accident at all. That didn't even injury, did not sustain like any injury that would need chiropractic. And he even goes on to say here in one of these accidents that I didn't even need to go to see the doctor. The guy's like, oh, didn't even need to see the doctor. I'll show you where that is. But there's objective documentation. Mr. Latordo sustained energies as the result of the Berdine accident, the second accident. So now here he's saying there's no documentation that I sustained any of the injury from the second accident either. So now he's saying that I have not sustained any injuries from either accident, even though I was seeing it. All these doctors, Dr. Zighetti, the diagnosis reached by that clinic was basically invalid, is what he's trying to say. Not consistent with the type of rear-end motor vehicle accident that happened on January 5th. A rear-end motor vehicle accident? Yeah, well, it was the front end. It was my front end, you fucking dork nut. What are you going to say? It's her rear end, like, accident? So you're talking about her accident and not mine? You better get your facts right, bub. Just see the x-rays and my wife's testimony and all the doctor's testimonies and all the clocks and all the dates, and see all my YouTube videos, you prick. Did plaintiff suffer from any pre-existing condition that were symptoms but that were lit up by any of the accidents? So did I suffer from any pre-existing condition that were symptomatic but lit up by any of the accidents? So does that look like I'm like some symptomatic problem person with like massive amounts of lit up stuff? And it goes in to tell you about, I only seen the chiropractor basically once a month for the last like 15 months before this first accident. And this guy goes on to say, based upon his records, did plaintiff suffer from any preconditionings that were lit? And he says Victor Latordo's preconditionings complaint was symptomatic at the time of the accident of May 13th, of the accidents of May 13th, 2004 and January 5th. So he means to tell me that I come back after that accident, after here, and then I'm feeling so sloppy, and then I come back after my Philippines massage trip on 2013 where I was just all buffed out. I don't have the picture here, but I was all buffed out, and I was feeling great, and going to the gym every other day, if not every day. You can ask my wife. They had a gym in the Philippines where I was going to exercise and hitting the elliptical machine, getting my cardio down and getting my weights lifted. And then I came back. I got it right here. Yeah. Here's my passport. Here's the dates I was. Here's the dates I came back. August 7th, September 11th, or 2013. I just came back, October. That's where I, departed. Came back here January of 2014. That's when, my thing was good till, but I came back, October, I believe, or something, of 2013, and I was all buffed out, and he's saying, I had all these symptoms. I didn't have any of these symptoms. Look at my chiropractor's records. Look at all, my massage therapist that stuff that I was, wasn't going to, or real barely even needed. It was all in the Philippines. I got it, and then I got my wife here, and she took care of me. It was, did plaintiff suffer from any pre-existing conditions that were symptomatic and were aggravated by any of the accidents? Yeah, I have general resist disease, and of course it fucking aggravated all my little fucking bullshit that I got going in anyway. It's not like I didn't need to go see a doctor. It's not like I didn't need to go get pictures. It's not like I didn't need to get evidence to corroborate, the truth, and not his truth of how he's saying that based on his understanding of the records, Victor Latordo's pre-existing conditions of musculoskeletal back pain, degenerative disc disease, were symptomatic at the time of the accident, May 13th, 2014, and January 15th. Sure, my degenerative knee was symptomatic, but how much? How much? A guy who goes to the gym like this and gets massage therapy all the time, goes in hot tubs and stuff, and gets massive workouts and is feeling great, sure. I had a little back pain, but it was being treated with one time at the chiropractor every month, and a massage, whenever I needed it. My wife's a great therapist, and we're not aggravated or permanently worsened by either of the accidents. And so, fuck yeah, they were permanently worsened. I'm still not better yet. These guys are crooks. I had no complaints prior to 5/20/13, and after 2013. That probably meant. It says 7/20/12. Yeah, no, that's right. 7/20/12 is when I went to the Philippines and came back, and 5/13, prior 7/20/12 is prior to 5/23. At 7/12/2012, I was feeling great. I was almost had the body like that. I was a little bit more muscle than that, actually. It wasn't so trimmed. And then when I came back and got into my accident on 5/23, then I started complaining. 2012, no complaints. 2013 is when it all started. I was doing great, lots of working out, massage, chiropractic. I had it all down to once a month. It was maintenance for all my working out and exercise I was doing. When, if ever, would you have expected plaintiff to recover from the injuries sustained as a result? And he says, I would have expected Victor the Recorder to recover from the injuries sustained in May 2013 in the accident by 1 to 2 weeks post-accident. So in all the other things up here and all the other pages, he says that I was never injured from any of these accidents. And so why, would I even need 1 or 2 weeks post-accident to recover from what? As far as his other statements are concerned, I was never even injured. Barely, you shouldn't even need to see the doctor. You shouldn't even need to recover from any of the injuries sustained. But he says, he gives me 1 to 2 weeks post-accident to recover from the injuries sustained. So he's admitting that I have, injuries that I've been sustained that I actually have to recover from, but he's only going to give me 1 to 2 weeks, from the January 5th, 2015 accidents, by 6 weeks post-accident. So then he gives me another 6 weeks for, 2-month total of I'm supposed to get better and be looking like that, like instantly after having degenerative disc disease and being a cripple half, my back and my life, people throwing me and stealing my software and stealing everything, shred of evidence I have to prove my case, and then rigging papers up like this so I have to prove my innocence, prove they're guilty and prove my innocence, and that I'm the victim and recover from the injuries sustained from all their stupid car wrecks. Question 9, regarding the amount of treatment I believe is reasonable following each motor vehicle accident. For him, probably going into the doctor wasn't even reasonable. Any dollar I spent probably wasn't even reasonable. What did he give me a reasonable value assessment of how much money I was supposed to be able to do his 8 weeks in? What's reasonable to his stupid sorry ass math? I'm just curious. If you do not expect plaintiff to recover from injuries sustained in each accident, what is plaintiff's prognosis for the future? Not applicable, because he expects me to to not have any injuries, to never have sustained it, and he's not even going to comment on the the 2 or 8 weeks or 6 weeks. He's not going to comment from those injuries sustained. If you do not expect plaintiff to recover, so he thinks I'm going to recover. I guess whatever. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I will recover, but how much? Sure, 99%. I'll get back there. I might have one more little tiny ache and pain in my back, whatever. If you ask me, but it could be only 60%. It could be like my thing, and it's only waiting to go off like a grenade, and it might totally go off soon. You never know. Problem. If you ask me, it's a state of everyday problem solving. Gym, massage, chiropractic therapy. It's nothing. It's nothing new. I go over it all day long. I've done it for many, many years, as you can see. Building out in the gym, the whole entire thing. Do you believe plaintiff has sustained any physical limitation or impairment of physical capacity due to the accident? If so, please describe. And then, for me, it's a yes. My hips, my neck, my back, my headaches, my upper, my lower, everything's sore. Based on my understanding of the records, the doctor says Victor Tortoro did not sustain any physical limitations. Like, I was never limited, like not even by 1% or 1/100th of a bazillionth of a percent, or impaired of physical capacity due to either of the accidents. it's like, what are these guys thinking? Of course, I've had a bunch of impairment and capacity. I can't even move my leg. I go to the fucking ER and I can't even move my leg. My neck, my back feels like it's on fire. It feels like someone's got a vice and they're tightening it on me all the time. I had to, buy a new bed. I got all this stuff. It's just massage. I had to go find a new therapist that did different treatments. I did not note any sustained and then he says, I did not know any documentation in the records that provides an objective basis for stating that Victor Latoro sustained an injury as a result of either accident or would need any therapy. Basically, he says up here, he shouldn't need any therapy. I'm supposed to get better within 1 to 2 weeks with basically no therapy. He doesn't even list a dollar amount. And then it says, all the findings in this record are subjective in nature, such as palpatory findings, restricted motion, and positive response to stretching and comparison tests and spinal exam. So I just did a spinal exam today, and he can suck it down when I give him the results. Neck still hurts, hips still sore, headaches still occur. If any future treatments may be necessary with respect to the injuries caused by the accident, please state what type of treatment and the cost you believe to be related. Based upon my understanding of the record, there is no need for any future treatment in the terms of treating the resolved injuries sustained in the accident here, there, and he doesn't even give a cost to it. He just stops and just goes on to the next statement. He just totally discredits, doesn't even complete it. What treatment, if any, has the plaintiff received following the accident that you believe was reasonable, necessary, and relating to the injuries sustained by the accident? He says, based on understanding and my I just based on my doctoring of the records, because this fucking chiropractor's a crook. Based on my understanding of the records, I like to say based on understanding my doctoring of the records, Victor Latoro did not sustain an injury as the result of the May 2014 accident that required any health care, including not even a doctor, and any chiropractic care or massage therapy. You like that? You like how he says the accident didn't require any healthcare? Like, I'm not even supposed to go to the doctor to ask him for healthcare, and I'm supposed to just trust that his report's correct about all my health, and he's going to show this to the judge and how he ruined that other lady's life on a Yelp, how crooked this person is, ruining people's lives. He should be freaking fried in the electric chair. Following the January 5, 2015 accident, the upper limit of reasonable chiropractic is the treatment through February 7th, 2015. So he says, what? I can go to freaking chiropractic for 4 weeks, when the first one on the other page said I could go for 6 weeks for that accident. He said 4 to 6 weeks, and it includes the first 10 visits. So he gives me 10 visits here, which he doesn't give me a freaking price, because all he says is my doctor's overpriced in the bottom. Doesn't give a price. So he basically expects everyone to fix me for free. The first 2 massage therapy sessions, he says I can have 2 massage therapy sessions, even though he says over there that I was never in an accident I was injured from, and basically all my freaking stuff was flared up from when I used to look like that, like my back, like everything was just such bad shape. I was just falling apart, just a couple months prior to the accident, and then he says, any treatments provided after February, chiropractic care such as therapy is not reasonable, necessary, or related to the January 5th accident. Yeah, well, he's also the idiot who said I shouldn't even be able to see the doctor up here. So who's really going to trust him? Again, there's no objective basis to state that Victor sustained an injury or any injury as the result of this accident or any accident. Basically, he's already said accident that required any treatment. The basis for the treatment is subjective, not objective in nature. Subjective, not objective. Well, what the hell does that mean? Like, in nature? Like, what if I'm supernatural? Fuck off. Also, Mr. Latoro was seen at Swedish Medical Center on January 8th, 3 days after the January 5th, 2015 accident, complaining of ear pain. Because, it's because I didn't have time to wait for a doctor and let my ear explode because the freaking, my ear, hurt so bad because I was doing the swimming and hot tubbing from the other accident, the first accident in May of 2014, these crooks, And then he says, in my opinion, regarding the appropriate amount of care based upon my experience as a treating chiropractor and upon available guidelines. One valuable source for guidelines is the second edition of Instant Access to Chiropractic Guidelines and Protocols, authored by Lou Huff, DC, and David Brady, DC. This text is published by Elvis Mosby. It's like, shit, that's a $25 book in 2004 that was, it's almost 15 years outdated. That technology is so old, and he's still referring to all of it. What is that? Did they teach him how to rig one of these forms or something in there? I mean, I just don't get it. Why isn't it updated? Are the amounts charged by treatment providers reasonable for care provided? And it's like, hell no. I told these guys how much they charge before any of it. They were going to charge it. And I told them if they wanted to cash me out right now for a reasonable price at $22,000 that they could. And that was $10,000 for me and $12,000 for every single medical bill I had ever had racked up for that point. And they said no. They said go and rack more bills up and rack more bills up and go get a lawyer. And then I said, well, the lawyer's going to take X amount and the doctor's going to take X amount and it's not fair. And where's my amount? And they said, well, that's just the way the system works. And then so they're going to try to defraud me like this. So I got to make YouTube videos to protect myself and USAA fraud Facebook accounts to protect myself. And I have to back up all my data, back up all my pictures. And I guess I have to run over to those people's houses next time they crash their car and take pictures if I forget my phone at home. Here, catch that, babe? Pictures. Always pictures. Accidents, always pictures. I told the insurance company on the second wreck, this is normal, because these guys are all idiots, and asked if they wanted to settle, because I'm used to settling with insurance companies. I just say, give me $5,000, it's reasonable after you hit me, and I, pay for my chiropractic and let me get stable so I can get back in the gym, get all buffed out and look like that, or something reasonable like that, and then give me a few grand to keep it like that. That's reasonable. And these USAA doesn't want to be reasonable. They want to have people doctor bills and doctor notes and say that this is just ridiculous here. And so he goes on. Has the plaintiff failed to take any action that would have resulted in the plaintiff's symptoms resolving quicker? And I've taken every action. He says, I'm not aware of any failure on the part of me to take any action that would have resulted in resolving quicker. It's like, yeah, I'm still trying to get back to there. I'm busting my ass. I got evidence to prove it. Forensic evidence. They can fuck themselves. Based on opponent owner's record, Victor did not sustain any injuries as a result of either motor accident that prevented him from working. Well, on what day? On what fucking day? When I'm dragging my foot around and going into the ER, they can fucking suck my ass. I had that prevented me from working like that day, maybe that week. There's some stuff in here. The first couple days of the accident, I wasn't working around the house. I was taking her on easy. This guy's a crook. And that's why, 2 weeks of Chiro should be enough to heal me. Like he says up here, I'm supposed to be like instantly better. And I'm supposed to be like the first 3 days just in bed. I mean, this guy's, just like crazy. If you're, able to apportion the injuries, if any, between the two accidents, please do so. And he says, in my opinion, there are no appointment issues regarding any injuries sustained in the two motor vehicle accidents at the time of the accidents of January and in the accidents of May had been fully resolved. Like when? Like when did they been fully resolved? Like what? Because I never had any accidents, like any pain that needed like 4 or 2 to 6 weeks or even 0 weeks, because it was never from these accidents and it was all preconditioning. And I mean, this guy's report gets so he's just rigging his report. It's just like I said back here, doctoring. Based upon my doctoring of the records, basically, all opinions expressed in this report are based on reasonable degree of medical certainty. What the hell does reasonable mean? Some quack who's freaking knows how to doctor records pretty reasonably well, like the FBI? I mean, come on. More probable than not? More probable than what? Not. This is a crooked doctor making up some crooked report. The opinions rendered in this case are the opinions of the reviewer and are stated on the more probable than not basis. So yeah, what's the more probable or not? So now he's got, this guy, Renninger, now he has 2 out of 5 people on his Yelp page saying that he makes doctored reports for fraudulent reports for insurance companies. So, this guy is all expressed. He can suck my ass. And yeah, there's your print. And he just signed it, and he said he wouldn't perjure or declare under penalty of perjury that everything on this report was true and done by him, and it's accurate, and my penis hurts.